All right, check this shit out, you guys. It's mid-February here in San Diego, and I'm getting ready for my spring and summer garden. So one thing I want to do today is I bought some bare root strawberry at Home Depot, and these are just dormant starts that they've harvested from their plant, and it's already rooted. And I bought this stackable vertical gardening system off Amazon, so I'll put a link to this in the description, but I'm testing this out for the first time. These stack offset like that, and you only water the top two, and the excess water drips down and waters everything. And it's a way of using vertical space. I'm gonna start by getting these strawberries going. So if you buy these bare root strawberries, they're gonna come in here with some soil. And then what you wanna do with these guys is find your starts and just kind of gently break them apart. There's a rubber band. There's supposed to be 10 in here. And what I'm gonna do is I get them separated, I'm gonna soak them in water while I get my soil and everything ready. So, looks like that's one there. I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's kind of a root cluster down here. And then this is what they call the crown of the strawberry. So where the roots come out of the ground, this is like the trunk of a tree. There's a hard little stalk, and there's kind of like little brown leaves. So when we plant these, we want to make sure we don't bury it above the crown. You want to bury it from the bottom of this little tree trunk down. So ideally you'd plant it like that. So we're just going to get these separated, pop them in water here. Some of them are hard to tell, but like you can see there, these are roots and these are kind of like dead strawberry stalks. That's okay. These things will come back to life. It's a little scary planting bare root because it seems like it's dead. Seems like I'm going to break it. So there's one packet. I have two packets here. Another thing you can do is just kind of gently roll this cluster, and that kind of helps to loosen it up. This seems like you're just planting a mess. And honestly, it is kind of a mess, but it will recover, and most of these will turn into good, viable plants. So while those are soaking, I'm gonna go ahead and mix up my soil starter. I like this blend. It's called Recipe 420. Potting soil. This stuff has a good mix of, it's really rich soil. It's got seaweed and guano and a bunch of stuff in there that's supposed to feed your plants for 30 days. So this is designed for what they call cut flower formula, but my experience has been it works really well with all veggies and flowers and everything that I want to start. But if you're looking at it, you'll see it has a little bit of perlite, but I like more perlite. And I like to put some mulch for a longer term nutrient release, and also to just break up the soil. So I'm gonna go ahead and start about half a bag of this. I just eyeball this, you know. So here's some, this is just Kellogg's Grow Mulch. It's just ground up bark, compost. This will give you a longer nutrient release. And then lastly, I got some perlite, and I'm just eyeballing all of this. I don't have an exact recipe that I use. I'll just mix it, and then I'll look at it with my eyeballs, and I'll ask myself, does it seem like it has a good mix? If it has too much perlite, I add more soil. If it has not enough perlite, I add more perlite. And I'm kind of looking for like that, where I can see a rock of perlite every square centimeter or so. But yeah, now all I'm gonna do is just fill each one of these, just loosely pack it. These guys, I should have mentioned, they have a false bottom. So that goes in there, and that helps create a little cavity where if you overwater, it doesn't drown your plant. It just gets trapped in there. So for now, like as usual, I'm not gonna compact this at all. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill them, and then we'll plant, and then we'll water it in, and then we might have to retop it. So these just stack like this. I like playing in the dirt. You guys like playing in the dirt? If you like playing in the dirt, gardening is a good hobby. It's a perfect amount of soil, actually. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. I don't. I really don't. That was complete luck. So here's a better look at what we're working with here. So this is a bareroot strawberry. These are all roots. This is a sprout. it's kind of stretched out because it hasn't had any light. Usually it would be much shorter. And then just in here is the crown. So you can see these kind of lighter brown, almost like leaves. Think of this like a tree trunk, and you don't want to bury any of the trunk. You want to bury it just to the top of the roots. So if I'm here on my planter, I'm just going to dig a little hole. I don't want to crunch the roots, so I'm going to just kind of make a big hole. Bury it in, and then see how I have the crown sticking out here? That's what we're looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and plant all these. We'll do a little time lapse for you, and then we'll put this thing together. All right, guys, I finished putting together 6 of the tiers. I have 4 starts per tier, so I ended up getting 24. They said 20. I've got it all here in my little pop-up greenhouse. In the back is the tiny one that I linked in my last video, but I actually have this larger one. I'll put a link to this in the description. This was only like $50, and this is gonna give some warmth for these strawberries to get a good start, because it's still February, it's still cold at night. And then people were saying this gets wobbly, but it's wobbly, but it's sitting on cardboard. It's not gonna go anywhere. It'll be all right. Later, I'll take it off the stand. I'll put it in the yard. I'll probably spin it occasionally so that everything's getting sun. But then the idea here is you just water the top 2 tiers, and the excess water drips down. Although you can go ahead and just water the whole thing too. There's no harm. Especially on this first watering, I want to make sure everything gets watered in real nice. The cool thing about the greenhouse is I water a lot less in this greenhouse because it retains the humidity. The plants, the soil, they just don't dry out quite as fast. So now you can see, I excess watered this one, it's gonna drip into this one, it's gonna drip into this one, all the way around. So you only actually technically have to water this level, and everything else gets watered. So that's probably gonna do it for this one. Strawberries are started, it's February. We'll come back, do an update in a couple months. One thing I'm gonna do is, as they start to grow and they grow foliage, they're gonna start to flower. I'm gonna cut off the first round of flowering, which will give it more time to do vegetative growth and hopefully produce a bigger crop of sweeter strawberries later. Anyway, hope you enjoy these playing in the soil videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.